Hey there, welcome back to another video. This time around, it is my rant on the 2019 horror film Pet Graveyard. Now, this is yet another one of those mockbuster films, a movie that came out around the release date of a more well-known film property that is just trying to prey upon people's nostalgia or people who are easily manipulated or confused and get them to waste their time or their money on a piece of low effort garbage like Pet Graveyard. Uh, this clearly is trying to capitalize on the Pet Cemetery remake. That is absolutely really only the main reason why this film was even made. And the Pet Cemetery remake sucked, but you know what? That was a fucking masterpiece compared to Pet Graveyard. But before I get around to sharing more of my thoughts on this film, I would like to give a special shout out to Daniel for requesting this review. And if there is another film, TV show, or topic that you would like to see me discuss in the future, feel free to donate to either my PayPal, my Patreon, or my Cash App. The links to all three are in the video description down below, and I will try to get to your requests as soon as I possibly can. Now, Pet Graveyard is directed by Becca Hirani, and if you look at her filmography, it's full of one bomb after another. And if you look at her other credits, it's just full of a lot of awful acting credits in awful movies. So I guess she decided to not only disgrace cinema with her shitty acting, she also decided to make things worse by giving us really terrible and low grade direction as well. So she decided to provide a double decker, so to speak, when it comes to her contributions to cinema. Probably because the company that she was working for had no standards and just wanted a warm body to be able to sit behind the camera and didn't give a shit whether or not they had any talent. They just wanted to have somebody who would be willing to direct their garbage movies and actually add a directing credit for films like Pet Graveyard to their resume. Now, the direction is awful. It is bad. There's nothing about this film visually that is honestly that interesting or compelling or memorable in the slightest. At best, this film looks like a student film. This looks like a movie that you would see made by some college students in a film class. But, you know, when it comes to a student film, it's not masquerading as an actual movie that people are supposed to pay money for. Or are supposed to buy a streaming service to watch. Like, it's not. It's a college student film. But this is just, in a lot of ways, just so bad. Like, the framing of the film is not good. It's not fine at all. It's not even average. The framing of the shots is just very generic or just not good at all. Because there's a lot of moments when it comes to the framing where it just really hurts any attempts at suspense or tension, or it really takes away from whatever drama a certain scene is trying to convey. And then not only that, the usage of camera angles, pans, zooms, other camera techniques is almost non-existent because this director doesn't know how to do most of those things. So all you really get is the most basic bitch directing. If the directing didn't stink badly enough, then you have equally as odorous writing by Susie Spade. Uh, and Susie Spade is another talentless hack who was involved with this film creatively. If you look at her filmography as a writer, it's nothing but shitty films like Pet Graveyard. This movie is not only uninspired and generic, it's very lazy, and it's just a ripoff of other better horror films. It's got elements of Pet Cemetery, Flatliners, Final Destination, maybe even some of like A Nightmare on Elm Street or Bad Dreams or some of these other type of films involving killers who are able to use your dreams or visions in order to get to you. And unlike a lot of those other films, even some of the knockoffs of A Nightmare on Elm Street that take elements of A Nightmare on Elm Street, like Prom Night 2, it's not enjoyable. It's not entertaining. It's not fun. It's just boring. It's like, hey, what if we took all of those horror films and made them boring as hell? And it starts off with a very slow opening prologue that involves characters that you never see again who have no connection to the plot other than this one scene. And whenever films do this, it's very frustrating to me most of the time. You have to really nail the writing when it comes to these kind of moments in a film for it to work. Because if you don't, it just feels like it's a bunch of lazy nonsense that's just tacked onto the runtime to extend a very thin plot to enough plot for an hour and 30 something minutes, because it deals with these random characters who are some survivors of some kind of confrontation with some sort of entity. They're talking vaguely about different things, about something about the other side, and something is after them, and they wind up in some auto body shop, and they wind up getting killed. And there is a scene later on in the film where the main characters do interact with the woman who witnessed all of this in the auto body shop, but it's still just the most barely connected thread imaginable. Like, it's okay, all right, they go and talk to that person later, but it literally doesn't provide anything. It doesn't provide any help. It doesn't provide any clues. There's literally nothing about that particular encounter that happens at the start of this film and the interview that the main cast or a couple of the main cast members or characters have with this witness that really adds anything to the overall story. You could cut it out and it wouldn't really affect a damn thing. So after this whole sequence happens in the auto body shop, then you cut to your main characters. This brother and sister duo of Lily and Jeff Newman. And their friends Zara and Francis. And you get an idea that Lily and Jeff are not doing too hot because they just lost their mother and they're grieving, and Jeff he's having a hard time with her death, and he's not handling her death in the most healthy way. He's doing a lot of really risky things and just not really focusing on life that much, and just kind of really burying himself in a hole. Lily's also struggling, but in a different kind of way. And their friends are also trauma bonded because of different things that have happened to them as well fairly recently or years ago, where, Zara lost her younger brother to a car accident. Francis, his ex, got killed in a tragic way that he might have been involved with, and he's grappling with that, and so they're bonded by trauma and by grief, which, oh yeah, great original idea, by the way. And they decide to brink. Well, at least Jeff, Zara, and Francis, because Lily at this point in time thinks it's a little too much, and she also has to stay alive so she can resuscitate everybody, because this is where the flatliners aspect of the plot comes in. And instead of the characters being flatlined via something that's injected into their veins, they get suffocated with plastic bags. It might as well be trash bags, because that's exactly where this film fucking belongs, as well as the screenplay. And unlike flatliners, there's no style, there's no flair, there's no intrigue with these brinking scenes. These different characters sit in a chair, they get suffocated one by one with plastic bags, and they all wake up in the same place. This boring black room, this black void, and they encounter what appears to be their loved one. And by the way, in order for them to get to that place, they have to remember a memory of their loved one, a good memory, a happy memory. And then that is what enables them to connect or tether themselves to the other side. And while they're doing all of this stuff, some mysterious figure appears in the shadows. Some hooded figure who I think is supposed to be the Grim Reaper, but really it looks more like a generic slasher villain or Doctor Doom. Let's call him Dr. Dumbass. So Dr. Dumbass shows up in the background, and all of these characters' visions of the other side, and they are eventually resurrected by Lily after their brinking episodes. In the most stupid, idiotic way, they're just brought back to life with oxygen. That's not how it works. When somebody's heart stops and they die, you can't just bring them back by giving them some oxygen. You have to give them CPR, maybe provide some paddles. You have to do more than just give them oxygen. That's not how it fucking works. And I'm not even a medical professional. Like, you could just do a quick Google search or do Wikipedia searching, and you would be able to find that information. Like, this is such a lazy bit of writing. Just bring them back with oxygen? Give me a fucking break. And so they're brought back by this oxygen, and the various different people who have brinked, they wind up seeing Dr. Dumbass more. And they are now being targeted by Dr. Dumbass in Final Destination type of scenarios involving their potential death or doom, as well as some sort of, Nightmare on Elm Street sort of dream-like scenarios as well. And Lily and Jeff, they're realizing that things aren't right, and so they're starting to investigate things. They're trying to investigate the brinking and the visions that Zara and Francis and Jeff are having of this mysterious hooded figure, and they uncover some research about the woman that saw the people who died in the beginning of the movie at the auto body shop. And there's also stuff involving a random hairless cat that just shows up every now and then with glowing eyes. And that is literally the only thing that makes this something that could be considered to be the equivalent of Pet Cemetery. Because other than that, nobody's being buried and brought back to life. None of that happens. And the only thing pet related is this stupid hairless cat, which just makes me think of that scene in Ghostbusters 2 with Venkman and the world of the psychic when he's talking about like the next episode of the show, where it's like, and next week on World of the Psychic, hairless pets. Weird. Like that. That's what I think of when I see that cat. Like, and it just makes me think of a better movie. Like, hell, I'd rather just be watching Ghostbusters 2 right now than be watching this piece of shit called Pet Graveyard. So you have this random cat that'll show up with glowing eyes, but it's never really established to be anything other than just a tease. And Dr. Dumbass eventually gets to Zara and kills her in really bland, boring fashion. I think he like strangles her with the shower hose and like covers her mouth up, like burns her mouth, so it's like all like glued shut. It's a pretty shitty looking makeup effect. And then Francis just gets killed by a vision of his ex. Yeah, he gets killed by a wrench. Yeah, he's working at an auto body shop himself for some reason, or some other place that involves like home improvement or something that has like wrenches. And Dr. Dumbass shows up and just beats in the death of the wrench. Not really creative at all, to be honest, when it comes to the kill. And after Zara and Francis die, then Lily and Jeff decide to devise a plan based on their research to try to stop Dr. Dumbass and break the link between the Black Void and our world. And they come up with this plan where Lily is going to go and kill herself the same way that Jeff, Zara, and Francis did, and wind up in the Black Void, find this skull that apparently is the connection between our world and this other world, smash it while she's in this other world, while Jeff is distracting Dr. Dumbass, because Dr. Dumbass is trying to kill him. And you're thinking, okay, all right, Lily's gonna do the thing where she's gonna think about her loved one, her mom, and then her brother's gonna kill her. No, that's actually not what happens at all, because the writer is so lazy and so bad at her job, she completely forgot her own rules that she created for brinking, because she just goes and gets suffocated and then goes into the Black Void without even having a memory of her loved one. Like, it doesn't even follow its own fucking rules. And then Jeff gets cornered by Dr. Dumbass. I think he gets an axe to the back. Lily finds the skull and smashes it. And then Jeff, you're thinking, okay, he made his final sacrifice to save his sister, but apparently he still survives in the end, even though that makes no fucking sense. But, the writer wanted a happy ending, so here we go. I mean, I give the writer a little credit there. I mean, it could have just went the very predictable route where Dr. Dumbass kills them all, so it didn't do that, and it doesn't really set itself up for a sequel other than maybe one last shot of the cat with glowing eyes. But it's not really one of those stories where it feels like, okay, there's that many loose ends. So I'll give the writer credit for that, but that's also really a very low bar for a writer to get over. Because at the end of the day, there's barely anything of substance at all when it comes to the screenplay. The character development is not really that great. The characters themselves, they're not really that engaging, likable, or interesting at all. The Black Void is boring. It's just about as boring as it sounds, trust me. The whole stuff with Dr. Dumbass and the logic behind it and what the skull is and its importance is not very well fleshed out or thought out in any capacity. The kills, what little bit you do have, are uninspired and lame, and any attempt to be scary is just really pathetic, and it's not scary at all, and it's mostly just boring and insipid and uninspired. And most of this film is just really bad, uninspired versions of much better horror films. And it's one of those films where you're just like, there's just nothing about this that is really that unique or fun or enjoyable. It's just all pitiful and absolutely and utterly pathetic. Like, even when it comes to like the horrific visions that the characters have while they're in the other side, even those suck. Oh, a birthday cake that gets blood spilled on it. Ooh, like, there's just so many things about it that suck. And I definitely feel that the worst aspect of this film is absolutely the screenplay. The direction is dreck and really not dynamic and not strong at all, but you might be able to get by with a more inspired and interesting script that takes these familiar concepts from these other horror films but puts an intriguing different spin on them. But that never happens with this screenplay. It's the kind of screenplay that's dead and buried, and just devoid of any life before uh, you even get to anything else involving the rest of the movie. And speaking of the other elements of the film, the cast is also very weak. But some of the performances are tolerable. Like, I don't really particularly like these characters, but Jessica O'Toole, who plays Lily, and David Cotter, who plays Jeff, the brother and sister, their performances are decent. With a better script, a better director, they might have been able to actually turn something in that legitimately might have been solid. But what they were given to work with was crap, so what came out was mostly crap, but other actors did much worse. For instance, Hindolo Koroma plays Francis. He was awful. His line delivery was bad, and it was just not a good performance at all. Rita Di Tuccio plays Zara. Wasn't much better. She was mostly very snooze-inducing, very flat with her line delivery, but she was still better than the actor who played Francis. Can't say much about Clive Cohen, who played Dr. Dumbass, because he doesn't have any lines. And the rest of the cast is just kind of there. You know, like the actress who plays Carla, Lily and Jeff's mom, or the actor who plays Isaac, Zara's brother, you know, Kate Milner Evans, and T. Uter Din. And then when it comes to other aspects of the film, they aren't very noteworthy either, and they aren't very good. The score by Lee Olivier Hall, it was just more of the same droning background noise or just repetitive notes over and over again that are just not particularly memorable when it comes to their composition, just very generic, just another generic element of an incredibly generic movie. And then the cinematography by Ben Cullen is not good, and neither is the editing by Scott Chambers. The visual effects are bad, the production values are bad. This is just a bad film all the way around. And it's not bad in a fun way either. Like, you look at the poster and you're thinking, oh, maybe it might be a fun movie for, some laughs. But no, it's not one of those movies. It's just really boring and forgettable and uninspired. But anyway, that is my rant on Pet Graveyard. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. See ya.